Chris Lemonis joins us right now. His baseball team won 2 out of 3 over the weekend. Big crowds all 3 days. Weather cooperated for the most part this weekend. Coach, it had to feel great to be back at the ballpark and to get a series win to start the year.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Unfortunately, we dropped that middle game when we have a big lead and just learning about our team. But it was great to be back. Big crowds. Weather turned out really nice after day one, and it's baseball season, and it's a lot of fun. And I think we play 8 games here in the first 10 days or whatever. So we're playing a lot of baseball right from the get go.
Yeah, you don't exactly get to ease into the season with the way you build the schedule. So small sample size with just 3 games. I'm curious if you feel like you learned anything about your team out of these first 3 games.
Well, I think so. I knew we had a good offense, so our offense played really well pretty much the whole weekend, and some of our new guys really, really played well. And we had some guys pitch well over the weekend. We had a couple of guys go out there for the first time on and not give us a great outing on Saturday. So it was a, learning curve for them because they pitched well in practice. So we just got to be able to get out there and handle the rubber and everything else during the game. And then, defensively we weren't great this weekend. That was probably one of my bigger disappointments. And we've been really good, and we have a lot of really good defenders. Probably made too many mistakes on defense for my liking.
You mentioned Saturday, Coach, and obviously, with Casey Hunt giving away some free passes, you mentioned defense. It was a lot of self-inflicted wounds. When you see it, when you have a loss like that, do you take something away that, like, look, if we correct our own mistakes, we'll be better off? It's not what they did, it's what we did.
Yeah, and it's like that every game for us in every facet. I mean, we're going to get beat at times in the SEC because the SEC is so good, but self-inflicted wounds, and we just call it the freebie war. We have a chart in our team meeting room, and every day we talk about, who wins the freebies, walks, errors, HBP, stolen bases, and we got demolished on Saturday in that because we just gave up so many freebies, and you just can't win that way, especially when you have a lead. And a couple guys probably lost focus. A couple guys went out there, and then they turned the momentum on us, and we had a couple guys not respond, and it's across the board. It's defensively, it's offensive. As good as we were offensively, we only scored 3 runs in the last 7 innings, so you can do a better job in every facet of the game.
Coach, in terms of guys that stood out to you from what they did offensively over the course of the weekend, there were some new faces that had some nice production, and then you had a couple of guys that people are familiar with that kind of got it going a little bit. What stood out for you?
And a lot of them were really good. I mean, Amani Larry probably put on a show, and
Yep.
We knew he was that good. He played really well this weekend. Colton Ledbetter had a good weekend. I mean, shoot, you pretty much go through the lineup. Bryce Chance, a player from there in the Jackson area that, maybe a lot of people don't know about, but he's a really good player. And I think he just got SEC Freshman of the Week. And it's a little guy who can hit for juice. And probably the biggest play he made all weekend is he had a great base running play to open that game up yesterday at the plate. So, we just, and I'm leaving guys out, I'm sure. Well, I just felt like a lot of guys gave us great efforts.
Hey, tell me a little bit more about Amani Larry, because his path to you is, it's a little circuitous. Couple of years in junior college, and then he goes to UNO and plays really, really well, and then he's a guy that you're able to pick up through the transfer portal. What do we need to know about him?
There was a lot of recruitment on Amani when he went into the portal, and we were needing a second baseman, another middle infielder. Luckily for me, my starting catcher for 4 straight years in Indiana was the assistant coach there at New Orleans at the time. And they were not happy he was leaving, but once he went in the portal, we were able to get some help from him. And really one of the funny comments from him was, Coach, he's not a great practice player. And he didn't mean that he didn't practice hard. Monty practices really hard. He just said, Coach, just in practice, he's just okay. And then in the games, it's like you get this superstar, and we were laughing in the dugout this weekend. I said, I guess this is what he was talking about because Amani's played well for us, but he played great this weekend. So sometimes guys play better with the lights on, and he's kind of one of those guys.
Coach, I thought maybe the biggest positive to take from the weekend were the final 3 outs on Sunday. To see Aaron Nixon come out there and look like a shutdown closer, look like that freshman All-American that we saw 2 years ago, you had to be pleased that he came out and really didn't give you any kind of problems, just got out there and got 3 outs.
Yeah, he was really efficient. I mean, he was one of the best closers in the country 2 years ago. We make our kids stand up in front of the team and talk about, we call it hero, hardship, and highlight. And just because we have so many new kids, they all have to stand up. And, he stood up and said who his hero was and how he had a tough year last year, but my highlight was beating Mississippi State in the 2021 World Series. And I didn't even realize he got the win in that game. This kid's played in Omaha twice, played for his country. I mean, this guy's done a lot, and it's really good stuff. And so it was nice to see him go out there. Him and Nate Dome there at the end of the game give us a chance to be really special.
Well, you mentioned it when we started this conversation that you got a long week. You got 5 games this week, 2 midweek games. I know you're not a huge fan of that. From a pitching perspective, how do you plan to set up what you want to do in the midweek and then going into the weekend?
Well, you want to be careful because you want to have all your guys available for Friday too. But these are all non-conference, so you got to win them all or have that mentality. And so we're going Bradley Lofton, our big freshman. He threw an inning yesterday just to get his feet wet. Tomorrow, and a very talented left-handed pitcher, and then we're going Durangelo on Wednesday. So we're running our 2 freshman guys out there. So they both got an inning this weekend just to try to get out there and get a feel, and they were both in pressure moments. I mean, they both had to come out there and pitch, with the game on the line, and they both pitched great. So we're looking forward to seeing them out there this week for the starts.
So okay. Yeah, I think we're thinking the exact same thing. When you run Durangelo out there as a starter, is he a righty or a lefty?
Well, he's usually both, but I think it was Friday night, he slept on his left hand, and it's kind of like you get a crick in your neck. I think he's got a crick in his left wrist, so he just threw right-handed this weekend. But he's thrown it. That's the first time he's only thrown right-handed. So I'm hoping he's both are feeling good for Wednesday. I mean, I imagine they would be.
That's what I was going to say, Coach, is like Mississippi State hyped this kid up all these months of both hands, and then he gets a left-handed batter and through righty. I was so disappointed. I was just watching it. I was like, no, come on.
A lot of our fans have seen him in practice. They all, we get 1,000 people at damn practice. So, but I know it was a little bit – I wasn't sure he was going to pitch. And then he told our coach, he just said, Coach, I can get him out right-handed too. Because he does. He has a great changeup. It's 95 miles an hour. And it's easy. I mean, it's but him getting ready. He was getting treatment when I left today. It's nothing major. It's just his wrist. You just kind of when you sleep and being able to pitch. So hopefully he'll feel better on Wednesday and be able to use both.
Hey, last thing. What about the new clock rules this afternoon? What effect did it have on your team? Are you a fan? Or are we okay with this?
I'm not. It's a little. I don't think it affected us at all this weekend. I think we were fine. We practiced it. If you notice, we're using PitchCom. PitchCom's, right. We don't do signals anymore. Everything's just a little thing on their wrist that just says hit, or whatever, throw fastball in this zone or whatever. Right. So I'm hoping that speeds us up. Some of it's a little too much. I feel bad for the hitter that gets in at 18 seconds. And then the pitcher takes it down to 2 seconds, and you're sitting there like stuck, and they can't even call, the hitter after can't call timeout. Well, I don't think I think Slade Offer got a strike this weekend, and what was nice for us is Slade got the strike called, and he's my worst one. I knew it before the weekend, and then he got a hit. Because I've already told our guys, somebody's calling a strike on you or a ball on you, you can still get the guy out or you can still get a hit, but and I know we've gotten a lot of knock lately, but it's TV based. We have to get our games back under control. They've gotten, 10 years ago we were playing games in 2.5 hours, and TV's a part of why they went bigger, but they've gotten slower for a lot of ways. And to keep our fan base to be on TV, to be able to be on TV more, the 10-run rule, it's going to cost some guys some at bats if you're up. I get it, but we're just trying to do different things to help make the game faster. And so, and everybody looks to the SEC. So it's in our world, sure. We're in our meetings and in college baseball. If we change it, then it can be a change across the, country, we hope, so that's why you're getting some of these different, it's going to be a little different in the SEC. We have different rules for SEC play that make it even faster.
It's a game that we all love. We hope it's good for the game. Thanks so much for your time, and we look forward to doing